So we are starting with chapter 3 in the tutorials PDF of Python. So this is an informal introduction to Python. And first we see input and output are distinguished by the presence and absence of prompts. So these are the three greater than symbols and three dots, which show us that the Python interpreter is expecting an input, and without those, it shows us that the Python interpreter is outputting something. To show that, we would enter Python in the interactive mode. So Python 3, this is interactive mode, and these are the primary prompts, as you can see. And if we just go for secondary prompts, so just type anything and then the colon, to show that we are still writing the we will be writing some lines, so multi-line construct. And then we get the secondary prompt to write an indentation. So if something, just do something, or actually we don't need it, because we are just saying that these are a representation of if Python is asking for an input, or like it's showing an output. So right here it is for input, as we can see, primary and secondary prompt. But if we get out of this, that's just an error, so we can ignore it. So if we do print hello, if we print hello, you can see that this hello which is printed doesn't have anything like the primary or secondary prompt before it. So that's how we know that this is the output. The same thing it says right here. And for comments, we just use the hash symbol. So if I do something like this, the hash symbol right here, and just some gibberish which Python won't understand, it just does nothing. And if I say right here, if true, that would be a valid thing to do. And print something, and just gibberish. Usually, like, Python wouldn't understand this, but it just prints something. uh, it just completely ignores this. This is just a comment. This is for developers to write good code, to explain what their code does, or just add a note for themselves. So that's how comments work. This is a comment, this is a comment. These all which are preceding with the hashtag is a comment. This is actually not a comment, because this is a text, like it's wrapped in double quotes. So this is not a comment because it is inside quotes. So that's true, that won't be a comment. If we try to print text, all of this will be printed, whatever is inside the double quotes. Now using Python as a calculator, let's try some Python commands. So start the interpreter, wait for the primary prompt, it shouldn't take long. So yep, when we are on the interpreter, we can just do basic math here. That's the plus symbol to add numbers, and the dash to symboling the subtraction. This is the asterisk for multiplication. This is the forward slash for division. And division always returns a floating point number in Python. But if we want to do floor division, as we would expect in Java or some language, that if we divide, we get whole number, which is the floor division of those two numbers. But in Python, we get a floating point number. That's not ideal. If that's not ideal for you, you can use the double forward slash, shown as right here. This is the operator, and those two would be the operands, the 8 and the 5, and we would get the floor division, which would be 1. So let's just do it. Since we have it open, 8 divided by 5, we get 1.6, and 8 double divided by 5, that would be the floor division operator. Actually, that would be 1. You think it would round it up to 2, since it is 1.6. That's how rounding works. But no, it's floor division. It's not rounding the number, it's floor division. So whatever is at the ones place, or like after the decimal point, it would just print that before the, so whatever is before the decimal point, it would print that. After the decimal point doesn't really matter for floor division. So that's that. 17 divided by 3, this should give us this is recurring, so it is 6666 and then 7 at the end. But when we do floor division, it just completely ignores this number and just prints whatever is on the left side of the decimal point. So yep. And right here, the double asterisk sign is actually used as to calculate powers. So whatever the first thing is, the 5 right here, we set this second number. So the first operand is like, the second operand would be the power of the first operand right here, if it is operated with the double asterisk sign. So we get 5 squared, which is 35, 25 right here. And the equal sign is used to assign a value to a variable, so just variable right here, and then the equal sign with the value whatever we would like it to hold. And we don't need to specify any type right here because Python is a dynamically typed language, so we don't need to do that. And if a variable is not defined, so that means not assigned any value. So if it is just like this, just letter n, which isn't which isn't assigned any value, it would give us a error. So that would be name error. Yeah. So as we can see right here, there's a full support for floating point numbers, but we can convert it to integer using the int function that we will see later on. But whatever is printed, the last expression printed and the interactive mode can be accessed through the variable underscore. So whatever is we can just whatever we can do, like in the calculator, you see what happens is when we operate the operands with an operator, we get a value which we can then operate with more. So that value is now stored in the underscore variable and we can use it more. So Python can be used as a calculator, so that's convenient. We enter the interpreter mode, interpreter right now in interactive mode, and we just do 8 plus 6 right here, which would give us 14. And if we would then we would like to we would like to operate with 14, we don't have to do 14 plus 5 something like that. We can do what we can do, this gives 19, but what we can do is we can do this. So that would be 19 plus 5 right now, because 19 is the last printed expression right here, and that is 24 for now. And we do control D to get out of here. And the next thing is we can also use it in functions. So this underscore can be used in any expressions, and it would represent the last printed expression in the interpreter. So whatever your last output was by the interpreter. So we don't explicitly assign value to the underscore variable, because it would create an independent local variable with the same name masking with the built-in variable, and the magic will be gone. Just we couldn't use then the last printed expression as underscore, because we now assigned a local variable. And how scopes work, local variables would be much more preferred than the global variables. So we would then read it of its magic behavior. And in addition to int and float, which we saw, this is a float and the whole number is an integer. Python supports different types of numbers such as decimal and fraction, which are and also has the built-in support for complex numbers using J or capital J to show the imaginary part. And so decimal fraction, we can like those two take in tuples as inputs, and then we can set the decimal and fraction part. So decimal would be just, we can learn about it in another documentation. This is not the focus, so let's just move on. So text, Python can manipulate text represented as str, also called strings, as well as numbers. So this includes characters, so enclosed in double quotes, so this is a string, not a character in itself. Words, names, so anything that is enclosed within double quotes or single quotes is a string. And we can escape it by proceeding it with the backslash. So if you want the characters to have special meaning inside of a string, so for this single quote to be inside of these single quotes, if the backslash wasn't here, this would end the string right here, uh, right here, and this would just be another thing. So t and the single quote would be just left alone, and this would throw us error. But since we have it escaped, the escaped character just appears in the string when we do this. Or we can use double quotes, we can alternate quotes inside of a string to accommodate the single quote or double quote which we need inside of the string. And yeah, so if we do this, that works. That's the double quotes inside of the single quotes, and here it's vice versa. But if we just want to use double quotes inside of double quotes, we can just escape them. And yeah, the print function produces a more readable output, omitting the enclosing quotes and printing escape special characters. So we would still have to escape the characters, but these characters, like the letters which are escaped, would have special meanings inside of the print statement. And yeah, it would print it accordingly. So this is backslash n is the new line character. It would print it as such. If we just do this, just without print, the special characters are included within the string, so we would see this backslash n. But here we don't see the backslash n, it is interpreted as the new line, as a new line character, which the print function recognizes and prints it as it is. So yeah, if we have something like this, print the path, and we have a backslash some character in the path, so which has a special meaning inside of a print statement, uh, that would this would mean a new line, because backslash n is a new line character. So if we do that, we would get this. But if we wanted to just have its own meaning, we would have to do it like this. Just put r in before the string starts, and then we would have a raw string. This is called a raw string. We would have a definition soon. Yep, this one. Yeah, the subtle aspect of raw string is that uh, yeah, it may not end with a backslash characters. So we would not have odd number of backslash characters, because that would give. So let me just show you. When we are inside of Python, oops, Python 3, and we say print here a raw string, which would be hello and then world. So this is a raw string. We would expect it to print, first of all, everything it has in it, just as it is. And if it wasn't a raw string, it would print the new line character as a new line character, not backslash n. It would interpret it as a new line character. But if we have odd number of uh, yeah, so right here, if we have this string ending with an odd characters of backslashes. So this would be even number of backslashes, and it would work because it would treat this backslash as an escape character using this backslash. So this would just mean double backslashes. But if we have just a single backslash or an odd number of backslashes at the end of the raw string, it would mean that this whole thing, the backslash double quote, is an escape character, and we want the double quote to be escaped within this string. And it would, when we try to do this, it would say that like the string wasn't wasn't closed because we have an odd number of backslash here, and it treats this double quote as an escape character. So for this line, it just never ended with a double quote, so that throws an error. And whenever we want to have multi lines as a string, we can use triple quotes. So that would be triple double quotes or triple single quotes, that won't matter. We just need to make sure that when we are not expecting a new line, we would put backslash at the end of that line just to mitigate that. And this processes this output, and strings can be concatenated with the plus operator and repeated with the asterisk. So this just self explains it, I won't go through it. So two or more string literals can be next to each other, and they are automatically concatenated like this. So we don't need a plus operator right here, we just need to have them side by side, and they are concatenated. And it is used like this situation. This is not a tuple, we will learn about tuples later, but we don't have a comma here or whatever, so this is treated as a single string. And yeah, and this would only work with actual strings. This won't work with variable and a string literal. And if we want to concatenate two variables, we just can't write them side by side, that would be an error as well, and we would need to use the plus operator to concatenate those. And yep, strings also can be indexed. So that would be like this word equals Python, and we can just access the index 0 of Python, that would be p, and it is 0 index, so the length won't be the last index, it would be out of bounds. So length minus 1 would be the last index. And Python also supports slicing of strings or any mutable type. So slicing, this is the syntax. So the variable name and then the square braces with the start and colon end. So start colon end, here the character starts with 0, which is included in the slicing, and 2, which is excluded from the slicing. So it would just go from 0th index to the first index, just not till the second, it would go till the first index. So we just get 0 and 1, which is py for this word, which is Python right here, defined right here. And we can just omit the start and end altogether. It would be by default 0 for the start, and by default the length of the word for end. And we can leave it as it is for end of the length of the word, because this is excluded. So if we keep this empty, and so it would just mean the last character, it won't go out of bounds because this is excluded. So that's that. And we can also, yep, so these are individual strings when we do this. So this is an individual string and this is an individual string, we can concatenate those and get the string right here. So when we try to access something which is not an index, So negative numbers actually work, but positive numbers which are out of bounds, or negative numbers as well which are out of bounds. uh, yep. So here it is given like what is inside of bounds for Python. So for positive numbers, it starts with 0. So p is the 0th index, y is the first index, and it goes on and on till the length minus 1 of this particular string. And since we are using 0 right here as the first index, we can't use 0 as the last index. So the negative one is actually the last index, and it just goes uh, more towards the negative side. And the negative of the length of the string is the first index. So the zeroth index, sorry, the first character and the zeroth index would be equal to the indexing of the negative length of the string. Yep, that's correct. So we can't access the index which isn't there, all on the positive and negative side as well. If we try to index negative 12 right here, it doesn't work. Positive 12 doesn't work. It would throw us an index error, as we can see right here. But slicing is gracefully handled by the Python. So if we just do something stupid and just enter an out of bound character right here, it would just mean that this is out of bounds, and we would want it to be as far as it can go if it is out of bounds. So that would be the last index, and it would treat it as so. And if it is like this would mean like if it is out of bounds on the extreme side, it would mean the last index. If it is out of bounds on the opposite side, it would mean the first index, or and so on. So yep. And Python strings cannot be changed, they are immutable. Therefore assignment to an index position in a string results in an error. So we can't assign something to a string, or to basically we can't change characters in a string, because strings are immutable. And they don't, like in some other languages, if we try to do this, it would give us character, or if we try to slice it, it would give a string. But here we don't have a character type, so this is just not possible. So it gives us an type error. Object does not support item assignment, so this is immutable. But we can what we can do is slice the strings and just replace the slice. We can't actually assign it, we just can replace it. Yeah. So if you need a different string, you just create a new one. Yeah. So we can't assign this, we can't change the string here, but we can concatenate two strings. We can just get the so what is this? This is the first index. From the first index we can get everything, and just concatenate it with j. So that would be replacing p with j, that's Jython. Yep. And what we can do is start from the 0th index, go to the first index. This is excluded, remember that. So go to this index minus 1, and then concatenate it with pi. So that would give us pi for the word, which is Python. So that's it. And the inbuilt function len returns the length of the string, and that would be the actual length. Like this would be the index 0, but it would count it from 1. So 1 2 3 4, it would count it. So that gives us the actual length of the string, and not minus 1. Yep. So that's that. List we would see on the next video. Thanks.